Peace, peace, family. This video right here is about realm creation and spiritual insignificance. Now, with that being said, the reason I'm incorporating spiritual insignificance is because we have to understand that that which is important to your ego is not important to you. Remember, you are the soul. You are not the fictitious alter personality that you have inherited. So with that being said, we want to talk about realm creation, right? Realm creation is directly realm creation has a direct significance in regards to that which is important to you, because once you understand how realms are created, you'll understand why that which you dislike and that which you have a contention against is non-significant. So with that being said, let's jump into this, right? Each world is a realm. Now, your realm is created by a totality of things, such as your environment, your atmosphere, temperature level, oxygen density levels, different modulations of oceanic, foundations on each planet. So all of these physical ingredients of a planet create different realms. So each planet has different land masses that are exposed, different water masses that are exposed. Like I showed one planet in my latest Farewell University titled Light Evolution. I'll show how one planet was made up of all diamond, one planet was made up of all ice, one planet was made up of all water. Some planets are pitch black dark. So these planets have different humanoid organisms and beings that allow them to have different physical experiences outside of the one you're having on Earth. So now with that being said, right, do y'all understand that galaxies are nothing more than clusters of solar systems? So now there are infinite, you can't even count how many galaxies there are out there. And every couple billion years, right, galaxies collide, okay, and crash into each other. Like planets actually, like our solar system is headed directly into another solar system that probably in 1 million, anywhere from 1 million to 1 billion years from now, will be having a direct cataclysmic clash. And our planet might explode. It might not explode. We might hit a smaller planet. It might merge, and their environment might merge with ours and create a new environment. So that being said, new worlds are being created every day. Stars explode, suns explode and destroy their solar system, and that debris and dust, like when you see meteorites, outer space or space debris or rocks, all those are leftover planets that are floating through space. So that being said, those asteroids, as you call them, asteroids get caught into the gravitational pull of a planet, and then they become a meteorite, hit our land, and then the DNA of the people or the organisms on that planet gets introduced into our ecosystem, and this modifies the genetic encoding of our beings and upgrade the beings on this realm in different ways. So that being said, information is constantly being exchanged throughout the universe, whether you like it or not. So now, why is it important? You're over here fighting about historical or other things that may just be insignificant to what your soul is trying to do. Now, we're not saying to expatriate history, because history is important to understand where you are now. But what we're saying is, people are fighting over egotistical things. People are dying over money. People are living their goddamn lives predicated upon making $1. When not only is the dollar not a creation of the universe, it too will be insignificant. So with that being said, as a people of the planet Earth, once we identify that which is insignificant, why do we continue to foundate a system predicated upon such an existence? So one day this planet Earth is not going to be here. It's not. So now why is it important? What's the big fight about? What's the problem? You're fighting over something that's not even going to be here one day. The job of humanoid entities on this planet Earth, whether they be natural or unnatural, while here now, is to facilitate a positive frequency on this planet while you're here. For example, you don't live forever, but that don't mean I should beat you and rape you because you're going to die anyway. No, I should treat you right until your time expires. Same thing with the planet Earth. This Earth is not going to be here forever, but while it's here, we should be treating it as positively as possible until its time expires. So that being said, look out of space, right? All that space debris, even what you don't see, something used to be there. But since it's not there anymore, is it significant to you? No. That which exists to you is what you experience. So that being said, it's animals in the rainforest we've never seen. It's It's creatures in the bottom of the ocean we never seen. So guess what? They don't exist to you. That don't mean they're not real. So now with that being said, history is recorded energetically, right? And is experienced via light downloads or psychic phenomena. Outside of that, on this planet Earth, you have people locked into a matrix mode of consciousness that are fighting over things that are spiritually insignificant. The universe at this point in time is constantly advancing and creating a new realm on this very planet. We're going from carbon 12 to carbon 7. But yet everybody's arguing about something that happened during the Piscean age instead of preparing to come to the Aquarian age. And this is why all of your problems are spiritually significant. This is why no faction or no faction or organization has been able to change the world, because their plights and their goals have been spiritually insignificant. It hasn't been the point. It hasn't been the point. So the plights of the people on this planet have become lost because they and their way of life have become lost. So that being said, it's not about money. It's not about there not being enough jobs. There shouldn't be no goddamn jobs anyway. It's not about none of the shit y'all think it's about. This is about evolution, internally and spiritually. So when we're talking about realm creation and spiritual significance, the only thing significance to your soul is moving forward. And what we have to understand is pain is held in the past. This is why when you think about shit that happened to you that you don't like, you get mad. And when you think about things that you want to be, you become inspired. The future holds pleasure, if we want to call it that. The past holds pain. So now let me give y'all an example, right? Because the reason I broke down, if you never knew that space debris, when you see asteroids, are debris left over from planets that either exploded or were destroyed, right? You don't know the history of that planet. So since you don't know the history of that planet, you don't inherit the pain and you don't want to fight over it. So now, here's the science behind that. And here's where I'm going. What if we grew up in a world, right, where instead of learning that we were slaves, what if all we was ever taught as a race, no matter what you are, black, white, whatever, Chinese, whatever, right? What if we was taught that we all grew up and lived in peace and harmony and nobody ever fought? Guess what happened? We would be living in peace and harmony and nobody would ever fight. Nobody would ever fight. So now why is this important? You are being programmed to run off of an encoding within your biological computer predicated upon pain and suffering because you feel like you lost something and you feel like somebody did you wrong. So now you live your entire life trying to overthrow something that doesn't need to be overthrown except for within yourself. Once you conquer the matrix within yourself, it doesn't matter if everybody don't join it, because you are not diluted. Now, we're not saying you're going to be free from the ensnaring grasp it has on you, but mentally and emotionally, you won't be suffering. You won't be running around here feeling depressed because you'll be internally liberated. You think Buddhist monks is running around here sad all day because you niggas is sad? Hell no, and neither am I. So with that being said, you have to understand, everything that drives you is what somebody has told you. So what you have to understand, even when we're talking about spiritually elevating, this is why you have to overstand situations. Am I demeaning or degrading the significance of African slavery? Hell no. Am I saying that it doesn't matter? Hell no. But what I'm saying is, don't inherit the pains. Don't inherit the pains while you're trying to inherit the pleasures. Learn from the past. Don't inherit the pains of the goddamn past, because then you inherit what I like to call spiritual insignificance. Nobody in the universe gives a fuck about what you're mad at. Not even what I'm mad at. You know why? Because the universe is constantly providing you a better reality for you to potentially experience. And sometimes a lot of us ignore our opportunities because they don't present themselves in the way that we want them to. See, everybody want their gifts bow tied and gift wrapped, right? But if a nigga just give you some shit in a plastic bag, right, you won't even open the plastic bag because you're too ignorant to the fact that what you want, that what you wish for is contained within the plastic bag. But since it wasn't presented to you in the way that you wanted it, you ignored it completely. So the universe is giving us a way out. The sun is heating up. The ocean levels are rising. Certain land masses being covered up. Other land masses is being exposed. The earth is reformatting and remanifesting itself in order to be more catered to or towards a melanated entity. But we are so busy arguing about what the fuck happened last night and what happened yesterday that we don't see what's happening today. New realms are being created every day. Okay? One is being created right now that you live on. And then once you're done enjoying this, I hope you enjoyed it fully, because this motherfucker won't be here no more. So the only thing we need to be focused on right now is going forward, advancement, learning from the past, but not inheriting the past. Learning from history, but not inheriting the pains of history, because this dilutes the way of the soul. All right? You want to learn how to cook. And if I burn myself and I tell you don't touch the goddamn, the grease this way, because you could burn yourself, why would you touch it to burn yourself to see how it feels? That sounds stupid, right? Okay then. So if I tell you that this happened in the past, right, and this created a negative spiritual or psychological effect, why would you inherit that same pain? So that you can obtain that same spiritual sky. So now with that being said, your soul is just like your body, right? If somebody hit you or somebody cut you, it hurts in the moment. But then after that, it scabs, and then it goes away. When you get hurt internally, it hurts in the moment. And then after that, you can say it's scab, right? You starting to heal inside. You become a little cold-hearted. And then it goes away and you're okay. Now, you inheriting the past is like you inheriting the initial cut already, the initial pain. Why would you do that when we're already past that? Learn from how you got the cut. Don't inherit the pain of what it felt like when you was actually getting cut. Learn from what happened to us as a black people. Don't inherit the pain as if it's happening now, because now you inherit the frequency of stagnation that our ancestors inherited when it was happening. So with that being said, we're talking about becoming godly, gods. You must overstand, okay? Overstand situations. This is not about jumping head first into an energetic trap, because that's what this is. This is magic, okay? This is magic. This is spiritual warfare. This is about getting you to use your free will to place your energetic signature on these let's say plasmic geometric capsules that's being laid out for you. Because even the way America is set up using what is known as geomancy, where you take certain buildings and put them in certain geographical locations and line them up with certain latitude, longitude, or dragon lines, or ley lines, or key lines, whichever name you want to use, certain coordinates using the latitude and longitude lines of the planet Earth to generate a certain frequency. And what they've done is they've architecturally built this entire country on a negative frequency, and you're playing right into it. You're playing right into it. So that being said, you have to understand this planet and the soul of the universe. The universe has a soul, and you have to tap into that. The universe is constantly presenting you a way out. You the one who don't want to motherfucking take it. It's like we in a club. It's like when you in a club and nigga, you could have left, but you wanted to stay and fight. And your man and them then took your dumb ass out the club and you went back in there because you was mad. When nigga, you could have went out about your business and created a whole new world and saying fuck that nigga that was at the bar. But now you done went back in there, got in some shit, and either you got killed or you didn't kill somebody, and one of y'all niggas went to jail because y'all was caught up on the past when you should have been worried about the future. So that being said, that analogy is symbolic to now. We so busy trying to argue with these motherfuckers about slavery, argue with these motherfuckers about lying in the history books, argue with these motherfuckers about ABCDFG, when we could be creating our own world and saying fuck them. So what you enslaved us yesterday? That ain't got shit to do with today. I bet you can't enslave me today. Huh. And I'm building a world for myself, minding my business, peacefully. What's so high? So your ego is so caught, the African person's ego is so caught up in trying to prove a fucking point that we don't have to prove. Bitch, I wasn't no slave, bitch. I might have been a slave in the Matrix, but bitch, you wasn't whipping me with no whip, bitch. So I don't even have to argue that with you. And I feel sorry for the motherfuckers who let you hit them with that whip, because I would have beat your motherfucking goofy ass. So with that being said, what the fuck is we arguing about when we should be building? And this is what I mean. You keep trying to go back in the club and fight, nigga. Take your ass to the parking lot and take your stupid ass home, black people. We keep trying to stay here and argue these motherfuckers' argument when we don't have to. The burden of proof is not on us. It's on the oppressor. What the fuck is we arguing with him about what he did? And this goes for anything. Chemtrails, GMO foods, all of this shit. What is we doing when we should be moving forward? See, when you leave the past in the past, fades away. If everybody leave this matrix in the past and start going another route, this too will fade away. So the universe, the earth, is presenting us a new mode of life. Okay? A new formula of life, I should say. The question is, will you take it? Will y'all listen and take it? And if not, globally, at least individually and internally. Will you seek sanctuary within your own self? That is the question. All of the shit that you have a problem with is 9 times out of 10 egotistical. Unless you're talking about getting rid of this matrix, all right, and becoming a more spiritually enlightened people, what you talk about has no significance. Nobody gives a fuck about your police brutality. Nobody cares, because there shouldn't be no police anyway. Nobody cares about arguing about is it wrong or right to be gay, because we can clearly see being homosexual is not natural, and we've already caught the government poisoning people through the water. So we can argue. Nobody gives a fuck about your feminist movement, okay? You shouldn't be dealing with ain't shit niggas, and you shouldn't be dealing with a system that's creating ain't shit niggas. So your problem is not with niggas, it's with the media that's being used by the system and the elites to create the nigga you got a problem with. So that being said, all of your arguments are insignificant. The only argument should be, how can I move forward, okay, in this world? We're not talking about in your fucking matrix. We're not talking about how can I get a job, and bitch, that's not the world. That's the underworld. That's the motherfucking man. How can we move forward in the world? If the sun is heating up, right, what can I do to assist in the information and downloading the information that it's trying to give to me? We talking about that type of world. We're not talking about you getting a fucking promotion at your job. That's cool, but that too will cease. That too will pass. That shit won't, money won't be here forever. And when it leave, I feel sorry for you motherfuckers who was worshiping it. So with that being said, family, new worlds are being created. New spiritual deities and beings are being introduced to this planet. This planet doesn't even have the same spiritual gatekeepers that it had thousands of years ago. You think the same, just like people, different people here now, it's different souls and gatekeepers here. It's different angelic beings and demonic beings here. You don't even know that, because you just on this motherfucker living blind. The gatekeepers ain't even the same to this planet. When you leave and when you come in and out of this planet, the entities that's in charge of your descension and ascension ain't even the same. So that being said, everything has re-manifested itself except for your motherfucking ass, because your mentality is stagnated. You too busy trying to prove the validity of a book that was written by the motherfucker who's enslaving you, versus trying to prove the validity of a universe that's trying to liberate you. So that being said, family, we have to understand, all right, realm creation is a constant process which will never be slowed down. And if you're not in tune with this process, then what you're talking about is spiritually insignificant, okay? We're coming under new zodiac signs, new months, new frequencies. We have a whole nother planet coming back into this goddamn atmosphere that's here now, that's changing the frequency of this planet. All right, this is why some people are experiencing spontaneous and sporadic emotions. You just get mad out of nowhere. Some people getting happy out of nowhere. Some people getting depressed. Okay, because the frequency of this planet is changing. The electromagnetic grid of this planet is changing. And everything is in tune except for you. Just like when a goddamn tsunami or a hurricane comes, you don't see no animals, but you see you stupid motherfuckers floating up the street, because everything was in tune except for you. So now with that being said, we keep talking about distractions. What you think they trying to distract you from? What do you think they're trying to distract you from? They're trying to distract you from the intergalactic shift that is taking place on this planet Earth today. So with that being said, you have to ask yourself, have you dedicated your life, or have you wasted your motherfucking life for a cause that was spiritually insignificant? Did you dedicate your life to fight police brutality? Huh? Why? 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 It shouldn't even be no police. You should have dedicated your life to going back to nature and teaching people to leave this motherfucking matrix and go back to nature. Did you dedicate your life to, you know, building a better motherfucking banking system? Why? It shouldn't be no such thing as money. Why did you do that? Did you dedicate your life to teaching history? Why? Christopher Columbus didn't discover America. Why did you do that? So that being said, the only thing we need to be dedicating our lives to leaving the fucking animals alone. We need to be dedicating our lives to banishing GMOs, GMO food worldwide. We need to be dedicating our lives, okay, to rewriting a new set of rules that we can follow. Our own self, that we place upon our own self instead of what somebody else placed upon us. We need to be dedicating our lives to build a nation that is directly in alignment with each star, with the star maps and the star constellations, and each of these spiritual systems that will, in each of these galactic systems that are used to guide our spirits, as our ancestors did. So that being said, if you're not doing anything that's significant to your own personal growth and development, you wasting your motherfucking life. You done went to school all these motherfucking years to become a doctor, to sell somebody some shit that's un-motherfucking natural. Why would you do that? You done wasted your motherfucking life. You done wasted all this money, got in debt, Now you a slave to the system that this shit don't even exist to prescribe somebody that's going to do them more harm than it's going to do them good. So this is what I mean by spiritually insignificant. You are accomplishing feats and achievements on this planet that not only don't they exist, they don't mean shit. What the fuck? You living your whole life to become a motherfucking NBA player. Why? What the fuck is it? Being an NBA player ain't never stopped no motherfucking wars. Okay? Being an NFL player ain't never stopped no motherfucking war. Being an actor. All of the shit that you idolize are materialistically, alright, of value according to the Matrix, but they're spiritually insignificant. So now I have to ask yourself, who are you? Because there's no such thing as an NBA player. That's not, what is that? That doesn't change the world. That doesn't make, that doesn't grow food. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't free animals. That doesn't, what does that do? You dribble a basketball and you shoot it. What the fuck does that do for the soul? Nothing. But put it in a state of unbalance because now you have to pick a side. Okay? And now throughout the entire game, you're fluctuating from your higher and lower self depending upon the position that your team is in, whether they're winning or losing. So with that being said, become spiritually significant to this planet. We can no longer continue to live in the age of ignorance, as I like to call it. A lot of you niggas live in the age of ignorance. You niggas have been, you have banished yourselves to the age of ignorance. So with that being said, you got to come up out of that. You got to climb back up out of that darkness and come back to the light. So when we're talking about, ending on this, when we're talking about this planet and the state of hell this planet is sick. And a lot of you motherfuckers is spiritually sick. And you niggas need a soul doctor. And don't worry, nigga, I'm the real soul doctor. I'm going to prescribe your ass 100% natural remedy to kick your ass back in the frequency. So with that being said, what are you here for on this planet? What are you here for? Ask yourself that. Why do you wake up every day, sit your ass at a desk to do nothing? What are you doing but wasting your fucking life? You're wasting your life. So we have allowed somebody to not only to enslave us consciously and suppress us consciously, we have allowed them to trick us to make us believe this is the way life is supposed to be. Some of y'all motherfuckers really think you're supposed to wake up every day, go to work, come home, watch TV, eat some shit that's gonna eat you back, and then go to sleep and do it again. And that's you're a hard-working man. You're a hard-working, go to college and get this bullshit-ass degree for this job you're never gonna get. You're a hard-work. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? What the fuck is wrong with y'all? So, you are living a lie. When the true you inside never had a chance because you didn't even know it was a true you inside. So with that being said, family, realm creation and spiritual insignificance. Realms are constantly being created. Planets are constantly being destroyed or either merged. This is where they get the theory from chaos comes order. Because the universe is constant chaos, which is creating order. And right now, this world, right, we've been allowing it to be raped, pillaged, molested, all by these world governments. They've been extracting resources ridiculously, not replacing them. The goddamn carbon monoxide and carbon levels in the air is at an all-time motherfucking high. We've been allowing this planet to become destroyed, all in the name of our consumer ignorance. Meanwhile, none of that shit has been doing anything for the souls of these people. So now we're living ignorantly and egotistically and wonder why we're being dealt with in that manner and wonder why the souls of people are not present. We're wondering why people on this planet are not truthful. Why people on this planet are not loyal. Why people on this planet are not trustworthy. Why people on this planet are so lustful and demonic and greedy and only give a fuck about themselves and jealous and envious. I'll tell you why. Because the job occupations and the frequencies within the matrix and the pathways within the matrix that we're being forced to walk down are creating alternate egos which exemplify those exact characteristics. You can't have a soul and live within the matrix. It doesn't work like that. Okay? You can't have a soul and tell somebody you're fired. I'm consciously know that you're not going to be able to feed your family, but I need to save some money for my big mega corporation, which is extracting motherfucking resources from this planet, which is the real reason you can't feed your family, because I've monetized nature, so you're fired. A soul doesn't exist here. And so now I ask the people of this planet again, what the fuck is you here? What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you adding to the problem, or are you taking away from the problem? So with that being said, family, this video right here was to enlighten you and make you think and help you to understand how you are adding on to your own spiritual drowning by participating in your own spiritual oppression. Why? Same reason you do everything else in your motherfucking life. Because somebody else who was not you said so. And with that being said, I love y'all. Peace.